Hey everybody, welcome back to TAZ'S Wig Closet at Wig Studio One, here to inspire and empower your wig journey. Today I just thought we would have some fun with some commonly used wig terms. These are terms that if we were just generally talking about it on the street and somebody overheard, they would have no idea what we were talking about, right? Unless they were wig wearers. So in that way, it just makes us feel like a part of a little club, right? And now some of these terms I have made up just my own description of what I'm doing to my wigs, and other ones are very commonly used. Let's get started. For this short video today, I decided to wear my Wig Pro Kylie in the color 22-1001R8. And this wig style was sent to me by Wig Pro for another review. So I really love this style. It's easy to wear. It's just a basic cap, but it features a very soft fiber, this voluptuous curl, mid-length. It's very swingy and beautiful. You know me and curl. It's a basic cap and it's affordable. I adore the style. You'll be seeing it in an upcoming review. So let's get into our terms. I think the number one term that I started to use when I first started to do wig reviews, I wanted to find a compassionate way to describe how we wig wearers really need to take responsibility for our own joy in this process. So I adopted the term own it. Now that's not a term that I made up. I probably heard it from somewhere. I can't give credit because I don't know who, but I think a lot of us were using that at the time. But I used it in a lot of my motivational videos, trying to get you off the ground in your wig journey. So in a lot of my videos, I always said we have to own it. You made the decision to wear wigs. You made the decision because you were sick and tired of hair loss, or you crappy hair, whatever you were dealt with. You were tired of that situation and you made the decision to help yourself and make your life better by wearing wigs. So now that you have the wig, now what? That's kind of where this own it comes in. You have to take responsibility for your own happiness, for your own joy, for your own choices in making your life better. And wigs can definitely help you do that. So when you're first coming out with wigs into public or around friends or family, you may still have that fear of being judged. And I just want you to go back to this and remember it. That is own it. Own the decision that you made to start wearing wigs. Own the work that it's going to take for you to move past some of those initial challenges into the joy of wearing wigs. And part of taking that responsibility is owning that style. You own that style. When you put it on, you hold your head high, you smile, you make eye contact, you walk upright, and you act confidently. And that will help get you past some of those challenges as well. That's part of owning it. Another part of owning it too is, making it yours. So just because you get a mass-produced wig style that maybe thousands of other people out there have and own, you can make it yours. You can make it yours through how you style it, how you wear it. Everybody has a different face shape, skin color, eye shape. I mean, we're all very different. We're gonna wear these wigs very differently. But however you're wearing the wigs, own it. Own it. Be confident in it, and remember when those challenges come, if somebody gives you a side glance, or if you get some sort of judgment from someone that you know or someone that you don't, hold your head high and own that decision, because you have taken a positive step forward to living your best life with wigs. So another term that I use frequently in my wig reviews is a term that I use to describe how easy it is, how this particular wig style is so easy just to put it on and go out the door about your day. You don't ever have to worry about it. You don't have to fuss with it. Super easy styles. And this I call the plug and chug styles. Now many of you will say, shake it and go, like the shake and go styles. Same concept here. I use plug and chug because I use that often when I was a mortgage banker for almost 30 years. I use that plug and chug term quite a bit. I had to be very efficient with my time. And if I could create a process that would allow me just to sort of plug into that process and chug through it, that was what I elected to do. So I was super happy when I found wigs that I could just plug and chug, because I was an efficient person. I did not have time to waste, and I didn't like fooling around with wigs. Now I am no longer in the mortgage industry, and it's a little bit easier for me in terms of time, but I still like my plug and chug styles, my shake and go easy styles. Typically, those plug and chug styles are shorter styles with basic caps. You just shake them out, apply them, and maybe fluff them a little bit, and within a minute's time, you're out the door. Typically, the last thing I do when I'm getting ready to go somewhere is apply my wig. And so I know that I do not have to fuss with my hair. Plug and chug wig styles are the best invention ever. Such a time savings. How many people out there spend, maybe 15, 30, even 60 minutes trying to do their hair in the morning before they leave? And if you were like me, it really didn't make a difference anyway. So God bless those plug and chug wig styles. When I first started to wear wigs, I kind of gravitated to some of the more affordable styles. And oftentimes that meant that they would have no lace or monofilament. They were just more or less basic cap. So one of the challenges that I had with those type of styles is making them look natural. And I spent a lot of time figuring out how to create a parting space on those wigs that made it look natural, that made it look like me. This is just all part of going back to owning it, right? So there were two terms that I adopted in the process of my basic cap wigs, my permatease top wigs, making them look more natural. So oftentimes, as soon as I got it out of the box, I went to work on that part. But the very first thing that I would do in that parting space was what I call springing the part. I want to spring those fibers up out of that bed permatease, because it was very obvious to me that in the shipping process in a brand new wig that those fibers were smashed down into that layer of permatease. And when I put it on, all you could see was that nesty permatease look at the part. So I quickly learned how to spring the part. And I do that by using a fine wide tooth comb, because this really gets down into that permatease layer. And I spring the part. So what I would do, this is a completely open top, lots of permatease on top with Kylie. So when I got it, I went down into the base layer of the permatease, and then I gently spring it up, okay? That's gonna separate the main fiber from that layer of permatease. Now I've already done that here. But what I realized was that by springing the fiber up and around that bed of permatease, it looked 100% more natural than if I hadn't done that process. Now, another term that I adopted and use quite often is to disguise the permatease at a part is dirty up that part, make it dirty. A clean part would be pristine and precise. And sometimes that doesn't give you the most natural look when you can look down in and see permatease, right? So dirtying up that part, making it a little irregular, will help make it look a little more natural and disguise that permatease. So what I would do, now this is a rooted blonde color, and that helps immensely with disguising permatease. But what I would do with the part, just dirty it up a little bit. I'd have some fibers that would go this way, and then, I would bring over some that way. And by making that part a little more irregular, you definitely could not see down into that permatease as easily. But those are the two terms that I love using when I go to work on a part on a permatease top wig, and that is I spring the part first and then I dirty the part second to give a more natural look on those types of wig styles. Recently, within the last year, I decided to make most of my reviews with the unboxing. I couldn't believe how many people thought that these wigs came pre-styled for me or something. That was very insulting, first of all, just because, give me a little credit. I've worn wigs a while. I know how to work with them. But I wanted to prove more or less that this is how these wigs look right out of the box, and then I would style them how you would normally see them in a review. So that kind of put to bed and to put to rest some of those rumors that Taz gets her wigs pre-styled. So there are a few things that you will see me do every single time when I do an unboxing. I wake up those fibers. That's another term that I use. I wake them up, baby. They are asleep in the box. When that wig style comes in the box, it's fresh from the factory and it's compressed. All the fiber is compressed into the permatease layer. It doesn't move naturally. And you can't even flesh out the style until you've really woken up those fibers. So waking up the fiber is another term that I will use quite frequently. But what goes hand in hand with that is how I wake up the fiber, right? This is the Henry Margou's Jewels by Henry Margou in the 10-6-13 color. I've got a review coming on this. But anyway, this is a lace front, and then the rest of it is open wefted cap. But this is typically how it would come out of the box, right? And so what I do is I shake it and rake it, baby. Shake it and rake it. That is just one of my favorite wig terms to use because it's exactly what I do. So I shake it and then I take my hands or a wide tooth comb and I rake down through the root. That separates the fiber from the cap. It sets free the individual movement of each fiber, and it just generally wakes it up. So how do I wake up a wig? I shake it and rake it, baby. So that's just one of my favorite terms to use. So when you hear me say shake and rake, that is exactly what I mean. I'm waking up that wig style to bring out its natural movement. First of all, it fleshes out the styles. Right out of the box, you have no idea what the potential of that style is. You don't even really know what the style looks like until you've woke up the fibers. So shaking and raking it wakes up the fibers, fleshes out the style, and sets free the movement of your wig. So another wig term that I put forward when I first started to review wigs, and I wanted to explain permatease in an accurate way, because all permatease is not the same. You've got permatease ranging anywhere from they've just sort of scalloped one end of the fiber, and when they sew it in, it just gives a little bit of volume without adding any extra fiber. But typically permatease are those short, wiry little fibers that are sewn at the base of the cap onto the weft, and they provide coverage so that you can't look into the wig and see the wefts or your head. But they also provide a little bit of lift, more of a foundation or a scaffolding for that particular style. Strategic permatease is lovely. Out of control permatease is not. So I have always said a couple of things about permatease. The number one thing that I say all the time is about permatease that's well done is just the right amount in all the right places, like all the right amount in all the right places. That's how I like my permatease. It has to be strategic and useful and functional. And I've had some wigs that are just so full of permatease that there's very little other fiber that it impedes the movement. It makes you look like you're wearing, a bucket on your head, and it isn't attractive and it's not fun to work with. I would say that most wig styles these days, even those that are heavier on permatease, are actually all the right amounts in all the right places. But then I've also coined another term because I wanted to explain the heavier permatease. And the heavier permatease felt to me very soft and pillowy. So if I put my hands into a heavily permatease wig and kind of felt down to the bottom, it would feel very pillowy to me. And that soft, pillowy permatease is another phrase that I sort of adopted and used to describe that heavier amount of permatease. Now, soft, pillowy permatease, an abundance of soft, pillowy permatease isn't necessarily a bad thing Again, going back to all the right amounts and all the right places. So when describing permatease, I will let you know if it's the soft, pillowy kind or the other kind, which is more of a pre-tease where you can't really feel it on there. And sometimes there's just a little bit at the weft to obscure the wefting and still be able to deliver a nice slim profile all the way around. All permatease has its place and can be a very good thing. I love my lift and volume on certain wigs, and a soft pillowy permatease can really afford me some of that. You can sustain a glamorous amount of volume on a wig that has that soft pillowy permatease. You just fluff it. You fluff that bottom layer. Now Kylie here has some permatease. There is some soft pillowy permatease, but not a lot. A very nice amount. So again, all the right amounts, all the right amounts in all the right places. But it does give me a little opportunity for some volume here for that special event, occasion, or just feel like being a little more voluminous that particular day. So that's how I coin some of these terms when I describe permatease. And the last kind of TAZ term that I use when talking about wigs and talking about my wig journey, and I feel in fact that this is one of the most important, and that is, I always say, and I'm not the creator of this verse, if you want to call it that, but I've adopted it in the context of wigs, and that is, I am out here trying to change hearts and minds one at a time. One of the purposes for starting this channel was to give you the resources that you need to make more informed buying decisions on your wigs, but also to share and to inspire you to live a better life with wigs and how wigs can help you accomplish that. One of the biggest challenges, and I think I mentioned this when I talked about owning it, was that there's this fear of judgment. And I just think that there is still a little bit of a stigma out there where, you know, fake hair, wigs, is just something your grandma does. You don't do it. You know, it's not acceptable and you might risk being judged for it. It's been a long time since I have felt that kind of judgment. It's been 6 or 7 years. So I gotta tell you, I want to talk with as many people as I can about modern wigs. I love nothing more than to be in a public space wearing a wig and somebody says to me, "I love your hair." Most of the time, I have enough personal time that I can watch their jaw drop to the ground when I tell them it's a wig. There's just a couple of seconds of silence that I absolutely love, because I know that this is an opportunity for me to get inside of the heart and mind of that person and change, to blow their mind with modern wigs, but to change their mind if there've ever been any stigma or judgment inside of them for those that wear wigs or hair extensions, fake hair, whatever it is, that I could change their mind through my positivity, through my enthusiasm, and through my presentation of these beautiful hair pieces that are transforming. You know, just the other day, literally, I walked into Ulta, and I go into Ulta maybe once a year. Because I don't put much makeup on. I wear makeup so rarely that it lasts me a very long time. So I was in there and this gal at the front counter said to me, what was I wearing? Let me think about it. I was wearing the Raquel Welch's Real Deal. And she says, "Oh, I just love your hair." Well, she was sitting back there with this luscious, gorgeous, long, straight hair, and she had dyed it into more like a burgundy color. It kind of looked like one of those burgundy shades that we see on the fashion colors, Mulberry and some of those others by Noriko. Not to get off subject, but does anybody else do this? I do this all the time. I will see somebody's hairstyle and I'll immediately try to compare that to what wig style that might be look like, the brand and the style, even the color. I love it. It's just a little game that I play with myself. I absolutely love it. I think wigs are better than real hair. So, but back to my story, when she complimented me on my hair, I said, oh, thank you so much. I said, this is a wig. And again, double take, triple take, looking real close. Mind is turning, right? It's open. The mind is open. And so I said, she probably was in her late 20s, but so I started to talk to her a little bit about the wig. I talked to her about Wig Studio One, if she can go out and buy this wig. And she says, well, I really like this color. She spends a lot of money on this fashion color that she loves so much. And I said, oh girl, I said, there are colors just like that in wigs, and you don't have to color your hair every day. And she thought about it. She says, boy, wouldn't that be nice? She says, I thought I would really love to have a wig just to come in here every day. So I didn't have to color my hair as often, so that I could just look put together and come in, and I didn't have to fuss so long with my hair. And I said, bingo, wigs can do that for you. So she didn't have hair loss. In fact, she had a beautiful head of human hair that she probably spends a ton of money and a ton of time on every single day. Nothing wrong with that. But if your color is growing out and you can't afford to get back to the stylist, or you're in a time crunch and you need to hurry, why not embrace wigs? So we looked up a couple of things online, and I'm quite confident that she went ahead and placed an order because she was just so enthusiastic and so excited. And I know that she is going to go back there and she's going to tell all the other girls behind the counter about this wig. And that's how we can change hearts and minds one at a time. By talking, by having a dialogue with people about modern wigs and hair pieces, and being in a positive frame of mind. I really feel like we're paving the way for our daughters and granddaughters in this way. So whether they have hair loss and are sort of forced into adopting wigs, or whether they want to wear wigs for fun or convenience, it all works. It's all acceptable. And who cares? Wearing wigs is no big deal. It's just like any other accessory. And, you know, I feel the same way about makeup and jewelry. Even if you want to do, you know, some facial reconstruction, you know, whatever it is that you want to do and it makes you happy, I am behind you and support you 100%. We do not have the right to judge someone for how they want to express themselves. We don't have that right. And I want to teach that not through cynicism or more judgment of others. I'm not going to judge somebody for judging me. I'm just going to show them another way. I'm going to show them another way that feels better, you know, that is more supportive, because I think deep down most of us want to support each other. It's just hard. It's just hard sometimes when we're conditioned and programmed to do a certain thing, react a certain way. And think about it. Any judgment that you have of another person for any reason, political beliefs, religious beliefs, the way they wear their hair, maybe they have a tattoo, think about the judgment in your mind before you say it, and find out where that comes from. And I guarantee you it's from programming. Somewhere in your life, somebody way back when judged somebody and you saw that happening. So you thought, now that must be the way it is, because I respect that person, mom, dad, grandma, for, you know, I respect them. I look up to them. I believe what they're saying. And so somewhere along the line, that programming took place. And my job, I feel like, in changing hearts and minds one at a time, is to deprogram and reprogram, to accept wigs and accept the fact that they can transform your life. They can make your life easier. They can make your life more fun. All of that and all of the above. I hope you enjoyed today. This ran a little bit longer than I thought it would, so just think of it as having a conversation with Taz on a rainy Tuesday. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Thanks again for joining me. We will see you again real soon at TAZ'S Wig Closet at Wig Studio One.